because when COVID happened, a lot of movies went, a lot of storytelling online. And I found this from a storyteller called Rebecca Lemaire, and she's from Belgium. And she told this story, and it just resonated in my head for weeks afterwards. So, the original story, she got it from a picture book, which originally came from Mexico, but I'm not sure. So I've actually got the picture book. It's in French. I tried to translate it, but I cannot. But her story is different from the picture book anyway. I'm really, really nervous to do this in front of all of you, because I know that you know stories and you know things, so it'll be great. Just really, really love it. Okay.
We've got our wings spread.
Once, in a town not far from here, lived an old woman. Now nobody knew how old this woman was, for she celebrated her 80th birthday every year. And on this day, she was cleaning her house and singing her favourite song. She couldn't remember all the words, but it sort of went something like this. Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much. Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much. When suddenly there was a knock at the door. Who could that be, she thought. No one was expected at this time. And as she opened the door, she knew her visitor straight away. Death, she said, come on in. Oh, you must be positively freezing. It's so cold outside. Come and sit down. I'll get you a cup of tea. And Death, so perplexed by the reaction from the woman, sat down on the chair. The old woman went to the kitchen, got a cup of tea, and came back and said to Death, oh, here you go, here's your tea. But in the meantime, Death had regained its posture and stood up and said, I am Death. It is time to go now. And the old lady said, no, not quite yet. I've got the cleaning to do. But I am Death. You must come with me. Oh, no. We'll do the cleaning together. Here's a feather duster. And she put the feather duster into Death's hands, and Death said, I do not clean. I am Death. But the old lady said, look, it's easy. You just hold up this, and then you dust it around. And when we do it, if we sing a song together, it'll make the time go faster. I am Deaf. I do not sing. Oh, it's easy. I'll show you. The words are really simple. Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much. Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much. So that afternoon, Death and the old lady cleaned, dusted, vacuumed, pushed all the furniture to the side of the room, and they made it all look beautiful. And when it was all done, the old lady stood down and she said, that's just perfect, just how I wanted it. And Death said then, okay, it's time to go. No, not quite yet. We've got to cook the supper. But I am Death. I do not cook. Look, it's easy. I'll show you how. And she dragged Death into the kitchen. And in the afternoon, Death and the old lady chopped up potatoes, they stirred the soup, and they put everything together, and then they laid it out on the tables. When they were finished, the old lady said, that's just perfect, just how I wanted it. And Death said, okay then, it's time to go. Oh, no, not quite yet. I've got visitors coming. Visitors, said Death. What do you mean, visitors? Don't you know it's my 80th birthday today? I would have thought you'd know something like that. But Death did not know. And the old lady said, look, I've got to go get changed into my bright, sparkling yellow dress. You go wait at the door and answer their door when people come. But I'm deaf. I don't know how to answer a door. I open doors. But the old lady said, it's easy. You stand at the door and you put a smile on your face and you say, welcome. And Death said, but I am Deaf, I do not smile. And Death tried to smile. And then the old lady left Death at the door and went to the room to get into her shiny dress. It wasn't long before there was a knock at the door, and Death opened it. Ah! Screamed the young man behind her, and he hid behind his wife. What is that? I don't know. It's one of your grandmother's guests, I guess, said the woman. Oh, and so, what is it doing with its face? But the young man and his wife went inside, and soon other visitors arrived, and everyone had a different reaction to death. Some got scared, like the young man. Some got so angry without knowing why. Some walked straight past it and didn't even notice it. And some saw death and then pretended not to see. Soon the whole village, whole community was in the house, and the old lady came out of the room in her shiny dress, and she said, "Everybody, let's sing!" And they all sang her favourite song. "Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much." And then the music started. The drums, the kalimbas, the whatevers, tambourines, and they started singing. And the old lady looked at Death and she said, "Let's dance." And the music started getting faster and faster and faster. And Death and the old lady were going round and around. And soon, the old lady said, "Stop! I can't breathe. Here, you dance with Death." And she put the young man, the grandson's hand in Death's hand. And he was a bit taken aback, but he wanted to impress his grandmother. So he danced with Death. Many people danced with Death that night. Many people spoke with Death that night. And soon they became familiar with the presence of Death in the room. And at the end of the night, the old lady stood at the door and said goodbye to all of her guests, every single one. And when they got to the end, the family said, we can't leave you with, we can't leave you with, And the old lady said, "It's fine. Death is my friend. You're right to go." And so when she shut the door on the very last guest, she turned and said, "Thank you so much for letting me celebrate my last 80th birthday here on earth. I'm ready. It's time to go." And Death said, "Not quite yet." You see, Death had such a good time, laughing and dancing and singing and eating and playing with all the guests, that Death wanted to come back the next year. So it did. Came back the next year, and more people danced with Death and more people spoke to Death. And they came back a third year. And at the end of the evening on the third year, the old lady shut the door on her last guest and she turned to Death and she said, "My body is tired. I cannot take it." And Death said, "Okay." And they held hands and they left humming, "Oh, thank you to life for giving me so much, for giving me so much."